Hi, in this video we'll talk about loops and how exactly loops control the flow of our code. In Rust, there are three different kinds of loop which you can come across. The first one is the basic loop, the second one is the while loop, and the third one is the for loop. The Notion doc is already attached to the description, so if you want to take or see or understand the logic behind loops, or you want to see the examples, you could go through it. Let's get started with some coding. What we'll do here is, let's define a mutable variable x and assign an integer value to it. What I want to do is, I want to use the basic loop to decrement the value of x and exit out from the loop when x value reaches to 0. What I'll do is, I'll write loop and I'll decrement the value by minus equals 1, so that every time this loop runs, my values of x is decreased by 1 unit. And if x equals 0, what I'll do is, I'll basically print the value of x and break out from the loop. But I still want to check what exactly is the value of x when this loop goes around. So what I'll do is, at the first or at the top of the loop itself, I'll add a print statement. Now this looks like a good way of giving an example of how exactly loop or the simple loop in Rust works. I'll do a cargo run and the corresponding value of x is printed throughout. Now loops in or the basic loops in Rust are not only for iterations, they can also return values. So loops are basically an expression in Rust. What do I mean with that? Say suppose I want to put the output value of this loop, the output of this computation, into a specific variable. How do I do that? What I will do here is, I'll come up with a new variable called y and put loop inside, or the output of loop should be computed and put into y. So this loop becomes an expression now, but this also makes sure that we need to return a value from this. What I will do here is, I'll basically add break x here, so that once this loop breaks, we have the value of x being put into y. And what I'll do is, I'll print the value of y as well, so that we get the proper value of y, and we can justify that loop here is an expression. I'll do a cargo run again. You could see x is equal to 0 is where we had our last loop running, and now y is also equal to 0. This means this loop has put the final value of x inside y, and print statement for y has printed the value of y. Now let's go with the second type of loop, which is the while loop. Now while loop can execute until or unless you do not know where exactly you need to exit, or it can run as long as the condition is true. What do I mean with this? If I want to change the same loop here into a while loop, how do I do that? Let me delete this. I could simply write while y is greater than 0, or since we are using x here, while x is greater than 0, x minus equals 1, and we keep on printing the value of x throughout the iteration. Let me log x or print x. I do not need a condition inside my loop. I just need it when I want to decrement this. What I'll do here is, I'll print the value of x as well. So that we make sure the value of x is 0 at the end of this loop. I'll do a clear here and do a cargo run. See, this is more of a shorter way of writing the same code, but it is at the same time giving the same output. Now As you have seen, the simple loops in Rust, basically they are expressions, but while loop is not an expression. You cannot return a value from while loop. That's a limitation here, but if you have exact conditions where exactly you want to stop the loop and do not want to return any value, then while loop can come handy to you. Now let's look into the third type of loop. The third type of loop in Rust is the for loop. Say if you want to iterate over a range or a collection, then for loop is the best one for you. Let's come up with an example. Say I have an imaginary variable I through which I want to iterate, and I want to iterate it from 1 to 6. What I'll do here is I'll simply write for I in the range of 1 to 6 and my loop starts here. I could just write println, and for the value of I could print all the values. I'll just save it. I'll do a clear here and do a cargo run. You could see the value of I keeps on iterating from 1 to 5. Now 1 is always included and 6 is the limit. 6 is not included in the range. You have to keep that in mind. If I want to traverse over an array or a vector, it becomes very easy using these kind of loops. Let me show you an example. Let us create an array of num and assign values here, say 1, 2, 5, 6, 7 and 9. What I'll do here is for numbers in num, I'll try to print all the numbers. I'll clear it. I'll do a cargo run. Okay, it should be numbers. I'll do a cargo run, and you could see all the numbers are printed. So for iterating over an array or a vector, for loop could be a better approach. Also, you could print all the numbers in the reverse order as well. Now how do we do it? Say suppose I have a range for I in 1 to 6 as we have taken a previous example, and I'll add a keyword ref here and I'll print the values. I'll exclude the space, add it here, and I'll print it. Now this basically means it will start from 6 and it will print in 1. I'll clear the console, I'll do a cargo run. You could see it includes 6 and goes till 1. Now our first example was from 1 to 6 and this one is from 6 to 1. It means this particular keyword is basically reversing the whole iteration and printing it from the topmost value towards the minimum value. So these are the three kinds of loops which you could use in Rust. In the next video, we'll talk about ownership. It's a very important concept, so see you in the next one.